Yo, what's up, tech junkies? Picture this. You've got a shiny RTX 4070 Ti, a card that's supposed to crush games at 2K, and yet here you are, playing Alan Wake 2 at 1080p with ray tracing maxed out, and your FPS is hovering around a measly 40. Something feels off, right? Is this high-end GPU secretly a slacker, or is there more to the story? Stick with me because we're about to dive deep into the world of ray tracing, DLSS, and some clever optimization tricks to figure out what's really going on and how to fix it. Let's start with the star of the show, ray tracing. If you've ever turned it on, you know it's like flipping a switch to cinematic mode. Shadows get sharper, reflections pop, and the whole game feels like a visual masterpiece. Alan Wake 2, with its moody forests and eerie lighting, is a perfect showcase for this tech. But here's the brutal truth. Ray tracing is a GPU killer. It's not just sipping your performance, it's chugging it down like a marathon runner at the finish line. Depending on the game, you could see your FPS drop by double, triple, or even quadruple digits compared to turning it off. So, 40 FPS at 1080p on a 4070 Ti with ray tracing cranked to the max? Honestly, that's not shocking. It's physics doing its thing. Now, before you start side-eyeing your card, let's talk about NVIDIA's secret weapon, DLSS, or Deep Learning Supersampling. This isn't just some buzzword, it's a lifeline for ray tracing fanatics. Here's how it works. Instead of rendering every pixel at full resolution, DLSS lets your GPU draw the game at a lower res, then uses some fancy AI to upscale it back to 1080p or higher, while keeping those gorgeous ray-traced effects intact. The result? You get better FPS without turning your game into a blurry mess. For a game like Alan Wake 2, which leans hard into ray tracing, DLSS should be your best friend. But if you're still stuck at 40 FPS even with it on, something's not clicking. Here's where my 2 cents come in. I've seen this play out before. The 4070 Ti is a powerhouse, no doubt, sitting comfortably in NVIDIA's 4000 series lineup with enough muscle to handle 2K gaming like a champ. But ray tracing isn't just about raw power, it's about balance. Alan Wake 2 isn't some lightweight indie title. It's a modern, demanding beast that pushes hardware to the edge. At 1080p with everything maxed out, including ray tracing, 40 FPS isn't a red flag. It's a sign you're asking your GPU to lift more than it can carry without some help. And that's where optimization becomes the real MVP. Let's break it down. DLSS isn't a one-size-fits-all fix. It's got settings you can tweak. If you're running it at, say, 50 or 60% resolution scale, you're probably sacrificing too much clarity, and the FPS boost might not feel worth it. My take? Bump that up to 75% or 80%. You'll still get a solid performance lift, but the visuals won't look like they've been smeared with Vaseline. And here's the kicker. Pair that with frame generation, another NVIDIA trick that interpolates extra frames to smooth things out. Suddenly, your game isn't just playable, it's silky. I've messed around with this combo in other titles, and trust me, it's like giving your GPU a turbo boost without breaking the bank on a new card. But don't stop there. Max settings sound cool on paper, but in practice, they're often overkill. Alan Wake 2 might have a dozen sliders you can nudge. Think shadow quality, reflection detail, or ambient occlusion. Dialing those back just a touch can free up precious FPS without ruining the vibe. I'm not saying strip it down to bare bones, keep that ray tracing glow, but find the sweet spot. In my experience, games like this often hide performance hogs in settings you barely notice while playing. A little trial and error goes a long way. Now, let's zoom out for a sec. The 4070 Ti isn't alone in this struggle. Ray tracing has been flexing on GPUs since the 2000 series days, when enabling it was basically a slideshow simulator. The 3000 and 4000 series made it practical, but even now it's not a free lunch. And here's a spicy opinion. Part of the blame falls on game devs. Some titles, like, let's be real, a few recent AAA flops, lean so hard into fancy tech that they skimp on optimization. It's like they're saying, NVIDIA's got DLSS, they'll figure it out. That's not every game, mind you. Alan Wake 2 is pretty well crafted, but when you're pushing full ray tracing at 1080p, even a polished title can make your rig sweat. So, is 40 FPS at 1080p with ray tracing on a 4070 Ti normal? Yeah, it's in the ballpark, especially if you're not leaning into every tool available. but normal doesn't mean ideal. With some smart tweaks, cranking DLSS to 80%, flipping on frame generation, and trimming a few settings, you could be looking at 60 FPS or better, all while keeping that ray-traced goodness. I'd argue the 4070 Ti isn't underperforming. It's just waiting for you to meet it halfway. Games are getting heavier, tech is getting smarter, and finding that balance is what separates a good experience from a great one. In the end, your 4070 Ti isn't slacking. It's just wrestling with the beast that is ray tracing. Alan Wake 2 looks phenomenal, but it's not here to go easy on your hardware. My advice? Embrace the tools NVIDIA's handed you. Experiment with those settings, and don't be afraid to compromise a little for the sake of smoothness. You've got a killer card. Now make it work for you.
If you enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell to the later update from my channel. Thank you for watching till the end, and see you in the next video.